Today, we're talking about humanoid robots. Two completely different ways of building the future. Two visions that are miles apart. On one side, we have the Tesla Optimus Gen 3, and on the other, the legendary Atlas from Boston Dynamics.
One might help you pick up your dirty laundry, and the other might make you run for your life if you meet it in a dark alley.
That's actually a very accurate summary, Voltio. But before we dive in, if you're new here, I'm Max.
And I'm Voltio, the one with the superior circuits.
Still debatable, buddy. Today, we're going deep into the tech. We're breaking down how these things actually work, why they were built in the first place, and which one actually makes sense for our daily lives.
And which one is just built to look cool on TikTok?
Exactly. Let's start with the first contender, Tesla Optimus Gen 3. This is Elon Musk's big bet for the future of labor. And if you know anything about Tesla, you know the drill. This isn't just a bunch of metal and motors. This is all about software. This is about pure artificial intelligence. It's about building a machine that can actually learn.
Translation? This thing has an actual brain.
Exactly. And that's the key difference from the start. Most people look at robots and focus on the wrong things. They look at how fast they can run, or how much weight they can lift, or if they can do a backflip. But Tesla is playing a different game. They are focusing on understanding, on decision-making in real time, on how a robot adapts when things go wrong. And that changes the whole conversation.
So instead of being a puppet following a script, it's a system that understands what's happening around it.
Precisely. And that's where the real power lies. Now, let's talk about how this thing actually sees the world. Optimus uses a state-of-the-art computer vision system. It processes images from its cameras in real time. But these aren't just recording cameras. The robot is constantly interpreting the feed. It recognizes which objects are tools and which are obstacles. It understands depth and distance with incredible precision. It can even predict where a human is going to walk next.
So while you're still looking for your car keys, it has already mapped every single inch of the room.
Pretty much, Voltio. And here's the best part. This tech isn't new for Tesla. They've been perfecting this for years in their cars. The full self-driving system is the foundation of this robot. We're talking about millions of miles of real-world data, a system that is constantly learning and improving. And now they took all that road experience and stuffed it into a humanoid body.
That's actually a bit terrifying if you think about it.
It's incredible because the robot doesn't start from zero. It starts with a decade of driving experience in its brain. Now, let's look at how it moves. You'll notice that Optimus isn't exactly a sprinter. It doesn't do anything flashy or explosive, and that is 100% intentional. Tesla is optimizing for stability and balance. They want it to be safe to be around. They want precision over performance.
Translation? It won't win a dance battle, but it also won't crush your favorite vase by accident.
Exactly, and that's what matters for home use. If a robot is going to live in your house, you don't want it to be unpredictable or jumpy. You want it to be reliable. You want it to do the same task perfectly every time. Consistency is the goal here. And now let's talk about the hardest part, the hands. Human hands are a masterpiece of nature. Replicating our dexterity is a nightmare for engineers. But the progress on the Gen 3 is honestly shocking. These hands can pick up almost anything. They have tactile sensors to adjust the pressure. They can handle delicate items like eggs or electronics. And this is where the real utility starts.
It can hold a cup of coffee without making a mess. For a robot, that's basically a PhD in physics.
It really is, and it's only getting better. But the real secret sauce is how it learns. Optimus learns by watching humans. You don't have to code every single finger movement. It can watch a video of a task and figure it out.
So if it watches you long enough, it'll eventually copy your terrible jokes too, Max.
Let's hope it only copies the useful stuff, Voltio. But this is why it's so scalable. You don't train one robot at a time. You train the hive mind and upload it to every unit. Imagine this in a factory, or in your kitchen, or helping an elderly person with their daily routine.
Basically a personal assistant that never sleeps.
That's the dream. We're still in the early days, of course. It's not perfect yet. It still has a lot to learn. But the direction Tesla is taking is clear. They want mass utility over anything else.
It might not be the most exciting to watch, but it's probably the one that will actually live with us.
No doubt about it. But now, get ready, because we're switching gears to something else. What you're about to see next is on a completely different level. Let's talk about Atlas, because this is where everything changes, completely.
Yeah, this is the part where things stop being practical and start being insane.
Exactly. Atlas is developed by Boston Dynamics, and unlike Tesla, their goal is not to build a robot for your house. Their goal is to push the limits of what robots can physically do, and they've been doing that for years. Translation, they didn't ask what is useful, they asked what is possible. Exactly. And that mindset leads to something very different, because Atlas is not focused on being useful, it's focused on being capable. Extremely capable. Let's start with the most obvious thing, movement. Atlas moves in a way that almost doesn't look real. It can walk, run, jump, climb, and even perform complex movements like flips.
And it does it better than most humans.
Honestly, yes. But the real question is how? How does a robot do that? The answer is dynamic control systems. Atlas is constantly calculating forces, balance, momentum, position. Every single movement is the result of real-time physics calculations.
So basically, it's doing physics homework every second.
Exactly. And not simple physics, advanced physics. Because when Atlas jumps, it has to calculate how much force to apply, how to land, how to adjust mid-air, and how to recover balance after landing. All of that instantly.
While you're still thinking about what to do next, it has already adapted 3 times.
Exactly. And that's why its movement looks so smooth, so natural, and at the same time, so precise. Now, let's talk about flexibility. Atlas is designed to move in ways that are not strictly human. Atlas can rotate parts of its body in unusual ways. It can reposition itself quickly. It can adapt to unexpected situations.
So it doesn't just copy humans, it goes beyond that.
Exactly. And that's very important, because robotics is not just about copying humans. It's about improving capabilities, and Atlas shows that perfectly. Now, let's go deeper into the technical side. Atlas uses sensors to understand its environment. Cameras, depth sensors, position tracking. All of these inputs are processed in real time and combined with its control system. This allows it to make extremely fast decisions.
So while you're thinking about what to do next, it is already adapted 3 times.
Exactly. And that's why its movement looks so smooth, so natural, and at the same time, so precise. Now, let's talk about energy and power, because moving like this requires a lot of energy. Atlas is built to deliver high performance, which means it prioritizes power over efficiency. It's designed for short bursts of intense activity.
Translation, it's not built for all-day cleaning.
Exactly. And that's another big difference compared to Optimus. Now, let's talk about real-world applications, because this is where things get interesting. Atlas is not designed for your house. It's not designed for daily tasks. It's more of a research platform, a testing ground for advanced robotics, a way to explore what robots can do. So it's like a prototype, not a final product. And that's why you don't see it being sold. It's not meant for the public. At least not yet. Now let's talk about cost. Atlas is extremely expensive. There's no official price for consumers because it's not a consumer product, but we're talking about very high costs.
Now let's take this comparison even further, because what we're really looking at here is not just 2 robots, but 2 completely different engineering philosophies. And that changes everything about how they are built, how they behave, and how they will evolve in the future. Let's start with something very important: reliability. Because no matter how advanced a robot is, if it fails when you need it, it's not useful. Atlas is incredibly advanced mechanically, but it operates in controlled environments, in labs, in test scenarios. That means it can be pushed to its limits, but those limits are still carefully managed.
So it's powerful but supervised.
Exactly. Optimus is being designed with a different approach. It needs to work in unpredictable environments: homes, offices, factories, cities, places where things change constantly, where nothing is perfectly controlled. That means reliability isn't just important, it's essential. The robot has to handle unexpected situations without breaking, without failing, and without putting people at risk.
That's a lot to ask from a machine.
It is, but that's exactly the challenge engineers are solving right now. And this is where engineering becomes truly fascinating, because designing something to work perfectly in one scenario is very different from designing something that works everywhere. One is controlled, the other is chaotic. Now let's talk about safety, because this is one of the biggest differences between the two. Atlas operates with a focus on physical capability. It performs jumps, flips, and highly dynamic movements. But those movements are done in controlled conditions. Optimus, on the other hand, is designed to operate around humans. That means it must prioritize safety above everything else. It needs to detect people, avoid collisions, and react safely to unexpected interactions. Even something as simple as walking through a room becomes a complex problem when humans are involved.
So one is pushing limits, the other is protecting them.
Now let's move into something more futuristic, learning systems, because this is where the biggest evolution will happen. Atlas demonstrates advanced control systems, but it doesn't focus on learning from long-term human interaction. Its intelligence is more about immediate response. Optimus is being designed with learning in mind. That means it could eventually recognize patterns, adapt to environments, and improve its performance over time. Imagine a robot that understands your habits, knows when you're busy, knows when you need help, and adjusts its behavior automatically.
Like it learns your life and fits into it.
Exactly. Now let's imagine how this changes industries. In factories, robots like Optimus could handle repetitive tasks, improving efficiency, reducing human workload. In logistics, they could move goods, sort packages, and assist in warehouses. In healthcare, they could help transport equipment, assist staff, and support daily operations. In retail, they could help organize inventory, restock shelves, and assist workers. And in homes, they could handle cleaning, organizing, and basic assistance tasks.
So they become part of everyday infrastructure.
Exactly. And not just infrastructure, but something that quietly integrates into daily life. Now compare that with Atlas. Atlas contributes differently. It helps researchers understand movement. It helps develop better robotics algorithms. And it pushes the boundaries of what machines can physically do. Without Atlas, many advancements wouldn't exist.
So it's more like a pioneer.
It's the kind of robot that explores the limits, so others can improve them later. Now let's talk about evolution, because both robots are still evolving. Atlas continues to improve in balance, agility, and movement. It becomes more stable, more precise, and more capable. Optimus is evolving in intelligence, in interaction, and in its ability to perform real-world tasks. And this is important, because the future is not static. What we see today is just the beginning.
So what we're comparing is not final versions.
Exactly. Now let's bring emotion into this, because people don't just react to capability, they react to feeling. When people see Atlas, they feel amazed, surprised, impressed. It feels like something from science fiction. When people see Optimus, they feel something different. They see potential. They see usefulness. They see something that could actually improve their lives.
So one inspires awe, the other inspires practicality.
Exactly. And both emotions matter, because awe drives innovation, and practicality drives adoption. Now let's think long-term. What happens when these technologies mature? When robots become more advanced, more reliable, and more intelligent? The line between them starts to blur. Future robots might combine the agility of Atlas with the intelligence of Optimus. That would create something completely new.
Something that thinks and moves at the same time.
But it also raises important questions about control, ethics, and how we integrate robots into society. Because the more powerful technology becomes, the more responsibility we have to use it correctly. We need to decide where to draw the line.
So it's not just a tech question, it's a human question.
Exactly. Now let's wrap everything together. Atlas represents performance, precision, exploration. Optimus represents utility, adaptability, integration. And together, they represent the full picture of robotics today. One shows us what is possible, the other shows us what is practical.
And both are necessary.
Exactly. Because without pushing limits, we don't progress. And without real-world application, progress doesn't matter. Now let's end with this thought. Technology is not about machines. It's about impact. It's about improving lives, solving problems, and shaping the future.
And robots are just the beginning.
Exactly. So the real question is not, which robot is better? The real question is, how will we use them?
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
You've been fantastic. I'll buy you some beers.